You ever see someone who looks lean in clothes, flat stomach, average weight, but underneath, soft? No muscle tone, low strength, always tired, stressed to the bone. That's the skinny fat trap. And it's not just cosmetic, it's metabolic quicksand. Your blood sugar's creeping, insulin's misfiring, inflammation's rising, and your muscle, your armor is wasting away. You don't need a bigger shirt size to be in danger, you just need to ignore what's happening underneath the surface. I've seen it all. In the lab, running pathology on tissues where insulin resistance and fat storage have gone haywire. I've seen it in the gym. Athletes who thought they were fine until they hit a wall of fatigue and injury. And yeah, I've even seen it in the mirror too. Today, you're going to find out why being normal weight can still mean you're at war with your own body. You'll expose what's really happening inside the skinny fat phenotype, muscle loss, visceral fat gain, hormonal chaos, and what all that means for your future health, performance, and lifespan. And more importantly, you're going to learn how to fix it with real strategies that rewire metabolism, not just slap on a band-aid on symptoms. No fluff, no lies, just truth, and a roadmap to get out of the trap before it buries you. Let's rip that band-aid off. Skinny fat isn't a joke or an insult. It's actually a medical red flag with a nice shirt on. The clinical term is MONW, medically obese but normal weight. Sounds like an oxymoron, but it's not. It's a death by comfort. You're going to look fine in the mirror, maybe even lean in the night lighting, but under the skin, low muscle, high fat, dysfunction. Not the kind of fat you can pinch on your stomach, we're talking visceral fat. Now, the kind that wraps around your liver, your pancreas, and heart like a boa constrictor. It's silent, it's dangerous, it's persistent. Let's break these down. So your characteristics of skinny fat are low muscle mass, not just smaller biceps. Your metabolic machinery is shrinking. Muscle is the biggest glucose sink in your body. When it's gone, your insulin resistance shows up right on time. Then, of course, you have high body fat percentage. Even with normal BMI, your body composition is upside down. The fat just isn't sitting there, it's pumping out inflammatory signals that drive disease. Then you have visceral fat storage. This isn't your cosmetic fat, it's internal. It's going to be secreting cytokines, elevating cortisol, and wrecks your metabolic function while you're still fitting into your genes. And you also have normal BMI. You're talking 18.5 to about 25. The medical system might tell you you're healthy, BMI says you're good, but BMI doesn't tell you what's actually going on. It's a weight-height ratio, not a body composition scan. And it cannot measure the difference between muscle and mush. Then you have hidden dysfunction. You pass the eye test, but fail everything that matters. Low energy, high fasting glucose, poor recovery, brain fog, mood swings, low drive. But because you're not obese, no one's paying attention, including you. You do not need to be overweight to be unhealthy. You just need to be undermuscled and overstressed. Read that again. You can look fine but function like hell. And the worst part, you'll never see it coming until the wheels fall off, unless you start measuring what matters. Muscle, strength, labs, recovery, function. That's a skinny fat truth. Your body's losing the long war before the world can even see it. Here's an uncomfortable truth for many people. Skinny fat isn't just a physique issue. It's a metabolic time bomb. And it's ticking. You might not look sick, but that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. Now, just because the scale says 150 and you've got a good weight going on doesn't mean you're actually metabolically healthy. The engine under the hood is sputtering. Without muscle to pull glucose out of your body, your insulin levels will stay elevated. This will lead to chronically high blood sugar and a fast pass to prediabetes or worse. This is why we see normal weight people with fasting insulin through the roof. You don't need to be overweight to have diabetes. You just need to be undertrained and undermuscled. Visceral fat also doesn't just sit there. It leaks inflammatory cytokines into your bloodstream 24/7, like a slow chemical fire in your gut. It stresses your liver, screws your hormones, increases your risk for fatty liver disease without a drop of alcohol. And the kicker here, it blunts your body's ability to respond to insulin even further. You're stuck in a self-reinforcing loop. Low muscle, more visceral fat, more inflammation, worse insulin resistance, more fat gain, less muscle, and just goes on and on and on. And muscle is not just for performance, it's your metabolic control center. When muscle is low, your ability to dispose of glucose tanks. You become carb intolerant. You feel sluggish. Your recovery sucks. Your metabolism becomes fragile. Not fast, not adaptable, just weak. This is the beginning of sarcopenia, muscle loss that speeds up with age and wrecks your independence, strength, and health span. If you are in your 30s and 40s and already skinny fat, congratulations. You're 10 years ahead on your path to frailty. You also have increased risk of type 2 diabetes, even with a fit body on Instagram. You have an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. Your inflammation and poor lipid handling light the fuse for this thing. Sarcopenia, your loss of strength, power, and mobility as early as your 40s. And of course, you increase risk of depression and fatigue. Your brain runs in the same chemistry as your muscles. When your metabolism tanks, so does your mood and drive. The bottom line here, you cannot fake metabolic health. If your muscle mass is low and your visceral fat is high, you're not just skinny fat, you're functionally broken. And the longer you ignore it, the deeper the hole gets. Let's cut through the noise and get to how do people actually get trapped in the skinny fat nightmare. Spoiler, it's not genetics. It's lifestyle mismatch disguised as normal, as modern. You have sedentary work and garbage diets. You sit all day, desk jobs, Zoom calls, scrolling feeds. Calories? Sure, you're eating, but where's the protein? You have high calorie, low protein meals. Think endless carbs, processed snacks, and healthy fats that aren't doing you any favors. You're feeding your fat cells by starving your muscles. Muscle atrophies, you have fat cells that multiply, and then your metabolism tanks. Then, of course, you have chronic stress. Cortisol's playground. Stress isn't just a mood killer, it's a hormone wrecking ball. Cortisol spikes when you're stressed, and guess what it loves? Belly fat! It signals your body to store calories right where it's most dangerous, deep around your organs. Stress hijacks your metabolism, shrinks your muscles. Then, of course, the other thing in modern day technology and everything else, sleep deprivation. This means hormonal chaos. You think skipping sleep is no big deal? Think again. Less than 7 hours of sleep wrecks your testosterone, growth hormone, leptin levels, all crucial for muscle growth and fat burning. You get hungrier, weaker, slower to recover. It's like trying to run a race with one leg tied behind your back. Then you have so many different diets out there that traps you and that also backfires. Clean eating is one with no protein. If you're filling your plate with veggies and healthy carbs, it's great. But without enough protein, your body will start cannibalizing muscle for fuel. You'll get skinnier, sure, and weaker and more insulin resistant too. And many people chronic diet without resistance training. Calorie deficits without strength work aren't sustainable. You lose muscle, not fat. The scale drops, but the problem gets worse. Then, of course, cardio-only fitness. And I've been guilty of this one. Endless miles on a treadmill, on a trail, on a road. They'll burn calories, but do nothing to build muscle or fix metabolic dysfunction. I used to run 120-mile weeks while going eating KFC afterwards for a post-recovery meal. I learned my lesson, even though KFC was delicious. You end up thinner but frailer, trapped in a loop of running off the problem instead of fixing it. The skinny fat condition doesn't just happen. It's a result of choices you repeat daily. And the brutal truth in all that, without changing these habits, without adding muscle, managing stress, eating smart, and prioritizing sleep, you just rearrange deck chairs on the Titanic. All right, let's get down to brass tacks. How do you escape the skinny fat trap and actually build a body that actually works like a damn machine? First up, nutrition. Protein is your goddamn foundation. You need to get 1 gram per pound of body weight, ideally, especially if you're training. This isn't a suggestion. It's non-negotiable if you want muscle. Forget obsessing about every calorie like it's your mortal enemy. Instead, just focus on macros that build, protein fuel muscle, fat and carbs for energy and recovery. Load up with nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory foods that keep your hormones and metabolism firing right. If your diet's still mostly clean eating with no protein, you're just going to be digging your hole deeper. Then you have to make sure you stop spinning your wheels with endless cardio and toning workouts. It's a myth. You will need progressive overload resistance training 3 to 5 times a week. Full body compound lifts like squats, deadlifts, presses, and rows are great for this. Now, there's going to be a lot of people out there that do a heavy amount of cardio and still gain muscle. They're sprinting, they're doing hill sprints, they're doing things that actually put on additional muscle, not just running down a flat road. Then, of course, lifestyle. You have to sleep 7 to 9 hours. No excuses. Sleep is where recovery and hormonal balance happen. I repeat this message so much, but yet so many people still don't get it. Cut the alcohol, cut the stress, drop the excuses. Cortisol is your energy. And don't forget NEAT, your non-exercise active thermogenesis. Walking 10,000 steps a day boosts your metabolism far more than an extra hour on the treadmill. This is a no BS foundation for fixing your metabolism and your body comp. Skinny fat isn't just a look. It's a flashing red warning light. You can't fake health. You can't outrun poor muscle mass with cardio and magic pills. You don't need to lose weight. You need to gain muscle and metabolic armor. So stop trying to get smaller. Start training to get stronger. Build metabolic health with iron, not illusions. Make the shift, own it, no shortcuts, just grit.